Hey, good morning everyone. Happy Tuesday. We're actually going to go over some lingo in the wholesale and auction world. It's interesting because everyone just kind of talks different in this industry. They use a bunch of things that people don't really understand, right? And so the seller of the house could be multiple people. It could be the actual owner of the house that's actually selling it. But the person or wholesaler that ties it up also becomes the seller because he's assigning the contract, right? Don't get too confused and don't get too caught up within the lingo. The important part is just to stay on task, and you just want to buy the property at a discount. You don't really need to understand like everything. So what I like to say is the homeowner is the original seller. They own the house, they're selling the house. The wholesaler now has the contract. So let's just say the homeowner's A and the wholesaler's B. And the wholesaler has a contract. Now he goes markets that contract for sale, right? And so yes, he becomes the seller, but a lot of times what I like to say is I like to call it a seller rep. And so when I'm answering questions in regards to that transaction, I like just to say the seller rep, because the wholesaler now comes to me kind of like a representative of the homeowner because he holds the contract. And then you'll have that wholesaler assigns that contract to a new buyer. That becomes the buyer. And sometimes that can get assigned. I would imagine that some people have seen as many as 8 or 9 assignments. I heard someone in our office say that they've saw a difference of over $100,000 before from the original contract A to B, and then once it gets assigned down. A lot of people like to call these daisy chains, and a lot of people say, oh, I like to avoid daisy chains. But at the end of the day, I really don't care if all those people are making $100,000. If I'm buying the property at a really good price and I'm going to sell it and be able to make a profit, I don't care about the daisy chains. Some people just like swear against them, and it's against their real estate religion to even do business in a daisy chain. To me, I really don't care. And I say to you, who those people that do care, why do you care? If you're buying the property cheap and you're going to be able to sell it and make a profit, who cares if there's a daisy chain, right? And so there's all these type of sayings and lingos, and I get asked all the time, like, what's the difference between an auction property and a wholesale property? Well, an auction property is a property that the person is losing because they're not making the payments, so it's going to auction, right? That's an auction property. And a wholesaler picks up properties from a distressed person that doesn't have the money necessarily to put into their house to fix it up and to list it with a realtor and go make a lot more money on the property than he probably can, but he just doesn't have the $30,000 to fix it up, that homeowner, because they're in a distressed situation. There's been a death or divorce or a lot of debt in the family, so they don't have the $30,000 readily available to fix up the house and list it traditionally with the real estate agent. So what they do is they sell it to an all-cash buyer wholesaler, right? You got all these ins and outs of wholesaling. It's actually pretty simple. Don't overcomplicate it. You're buying it at a discount, and that's what counts. And so going back to the lingo, the homeowner is the homeowner and he is the seller. He is the original seller. The wholesaler, to me, which becomes like a seller rep, and that he's assigning that contract. And so I hope that helps a little bit with the lingo, the ins and outs of wholesaling. And you guys go out there and make it a great day. Thank you.